What is going on, everyone? And in this video, I'll be giving you my UFC Vegas 70 main card predictions for the upcoming event taking place this Saturday, February 25th, 2023, out of the UFC Apex. Another UFC Apex banger, Krylov versus Spann in the main event. Actually, you know, we do troll a lot of times with these UFC Apex events, but obviously, I think this one's at least a little bit more names on it than the last one. The last one with the main event, the surprise, the upset, Erin Blanchfield defeating Jessica Andrade via submission, and then Andrade saying it's because she had a wardrobe malfunction. I don't know about that. Didn't do too well on that one. 6-5 for me. So no excuses, but I will say, like, I think sometimes it's hard for these UFC Apex cards. Like, the main event just switches, or somebody's fighting someone on short notice, or someone like some of these guys, you don't really have too much tape on them, and who knows what happens. But 6-5, okay, I'll take it for UFC Apex. Keep doing better. Hopefully, if not, I'll still make picks regardless. But anyways, so I think this one will be a little bit better than that one. Some names on there. Who knows? Maybe good finishes, submissions, whatever. A little bit too many. I think it was too many decisions on the last one as well. Yeah, definitely 4 decisions on the main card. So it is what it is. So we move on to this one, and then obviously UFC 285 Jones versus Gane, the absolute banger, co-main event of the evening. Valentina Shevchenko taking on Alexa Grasso. Jeff Neal taking on Shavkat Rakhmonov. I mean, the list keeps going, right? Some of these pay-per-views are going to be absolute bangers, so really looking forward to those. But either way, let's go ahead, jump right into this one, talk about it. UFC Vegas 70. In the first fight on the main card, we have Mike Malott taking on Yohan Lainesse in a welterweight bout. 2-0 for Malott, and then 9-1 for Lainesse. So Malott's coming off of this one with a victory in his last outing. He's coming into this one, and he had a victory over Mickey Gall, which he absolutely crushed him with a little short hook in that fight in round number 1. Just crushed him. I would say he looked, I mean, he definitely ate some shots in that fight, but he was super aggressive, and he has power. He can eat a shot as well. Maybe he gets taken down in this one. I think Lainesse might look to get the takedown in this one. Lainesse is coming into this fight with a 1-1 record inside the UFC, and he come off a win against Darian Weeks via split decision. Before that, he got taken out by Gabe Green in round number 2. Lainesse, I would be a little skeptical if he doesn't look to take this fight to the ground early on. I think he's going to need to do that. Malott's definitely going to try to trade with him on the feet, and I think Lainesse can be caught on the feet, in my opinion, especially against a guy like Malott, who's going to bring that heat. Has no problem exchanging in the pocket. Pretty good hands. He does drop his defense. Like, I'll give him, you know, I won't give him that. Like, Lainesse, I guess you could say, could catch him. Malott does try to keep his head up a little bit, his chin a little too high, but at the same time, I don't think Lainesse is going to be able to take him out like that quickly. So yeah, I mean, if Malott's not able to get the takedown defense going, and he gets taken down, that's a little bit concerning, because I do think Lainesse too is going to probably have the better movement. He's going to definitely be moving around a lot more, probably looking to take this one not so aggressive, because it's just that's just not going to be it. But if he is able to give him a little bit more of a fight, he's moving a lot more. I could see this going to a decision here. And at the same time, Malott, if he's the one trying to be super aggressive, Lainesse is going to try to probably counter him. You know, look for the counters, use the movement, don't back up against the fence. Try to get the takedown, slow this thing down, because I do think Malott's going to come out here pretty aggressive. And because he doesn't really have that fear that he's going to get taken out. Now, granted, like I said, he could get taken out here, but I'm going to actually go with Mike Malott on this one, because I think he's going to be super aggressive, defend the takedowns, keep coming forward. And you might go to a decision just because Lainesse is going to have that circle out movement. He's going to be moving around a lot. Maybe he's not going to try to trade with him, give him the opportunity to get finished. And so it goes to, and he might mix in some takedowns here and there, so that might take this one to a decision. But I'm going to go with Mike Malott. I just think he's going to be the aggressor. He's going to land the harder shots. And if he is able to get up from those takedowns, then I could see him pulling off a decision. But I don't know if he knocks him out. I really don't, because I think Lainesse is going to do a good job of not playing into that whole game. So I'm going to go Mike Malott to defeat Yohan Lainesse. I'll take him to win by a decision. And then we move on into the second fight on the main card, and we have Tatiana Suarez taking on Montana De La Rosa in a women's flyweight bout. 9-0 for Suarez, and then for De La Rosa coming in with a 12-7-1 record. Now, obviously, right off the bat, I think Suarez is probably going to have the better takedowns. That being said, though, De La Rosa could possibly handle herself in some of those situations, but I think more so looking to keep the fight standing, looking to make it difficult for Suarez to get those takedowns, and then piecing her up on the feet would be her route to victory. That being said, obviously, Suarez was able to just kind of manhandle Carla Esparza on the floor. And, you know, she's kind of like that gatekeeper with that kind of grappling. She took out Alexa Grasso, submitted her. I think it's going to be very hard to take down Suarez, let alone defend the takedowns to the point where Suarez is like gassed out, like super bad, and then next thing you know, De La Rosa's piecing her up. I mean, that's the game plan, but Suarez is, once she gets the fight to the ground, she's going to be actively working for ground and pound, actively working for submission, and it's just not going to be a good thing. But like I said, if De La Rosa can piece her up on the feet, defend takedowns, make her work for it, tire her out a little bit, and then just start piecing her up, I mean, she's going to have to do that pretty much anytime the fight is standing. I mean, she's just going to have to take advantage of like any positional like striking advantage that she gets, right? I mean, she's going to have to kick her. She's going to have to go to the body. She's going to have to go to the head and just kind of overwhelm her to the point where Suarez is diving in for takedowns kind of lazily. But again, like I said, you know, obviously De La Rosa has been taken down before, and I feel like she's probably going to get taken down here and not really have an answer to getting back up. Maybe not. Maybe she does put up a fight, but and also at the same time, Suarez is moving up for this fight to 125, and then she said she's going to go back down to 115, and then the whole, like, what has it been, 4 years or something like that, 3 years having a layoff, or not 3 years, 3 years. 4 years, whatever, having that layoff, you know, how is she going to look here? You know, I think she had like knee surgery, so her knee was, so who knows, right? I mean, you don't know if that's taken away from the wrestling. You don't know if like her knee's going to give out or something mid-fight. Like, we don't really know. You know, all the time you see somebody, they come out, they look horrible, right? Or she's not getting the takedown, and then next thing you know, oh, my knee, it blew out again. Like, you know, so you don't really know. Hopefully that doesn't happen, because I think if she can take down like Grasso, do what she did to Esparza, Nina Nunes, pretty tough, obviously. Even Viviane, I mean, Pereira's not necessarily the best fighter, but even doing something against her, taking out Amanda Cooper on the Ultimate Fighter, I feel like she's going to be good enough here. So with that, try not to overthink it. I'm going to go you know, I'm going to take her not to win by a finish, just because she could have a little bit of a rust to her. Maybe she plays the fight safe, is trying to do her game. Maybe De La Rosa is very tough, and then she's able to fend off a lot of those, or just make it a hard fight, I guess. But still, she's not doing anything to like fight back, but she doesn't get absolutely crushed. So I'm going to go Tatiana Suarez to defeat Montana De La Rosa. I'll take her to win by a decision. In the third fight on the main card, we have Augusto Sakai taking on Don'Tale Mayes in a heavyweight bout. 15-5-1 for Sakai, and then 10-4 for Don'Tale Mayes. Both fighters are just not doing too well inside of the UFC. I would argue, though, lately Sakai is definitely not doing well inside the UFC, coming off 4 losses. I mean, his weakness is getting taken down. And that's just pretty much it. Now, granted, he got taken out by Spivak. Obviously, looking at what he does, submission specialist, or just having that ability to get the takedown and then fully mount you and put you away. Losing to Tai Tuivasa. I mean, he just got absolutely crushed in that one. Same thing with Rosenstrike, absolutely crushed. Against Alistar Overeem, taken down and then absolutely crushed. So his last win was against Blagoy Ivanov via split decision in May 30th of 2020. I mean, he did take out Marcin Tybura, took out Arlovsky, took out Sherman. So I guess you could say like maybe against good competition, he's just not finding his way to victory, and he's just not looking good at all. Against mid-tier, lower level competition, he's able to find a good win here and there, but it's still super sketchy in my opinion. Like it's just, you don't know if he's not able to take a shot anymore. I mean, he just doesn't have the wrestling at all. And I'm not saying Dontel Mays coming into this fight is going to be any better than him, because Mays is also having a struggle here. Not of late, but like before against Rodrigo Nascimento, got submitted in that one. Obviously submitted by Surreal Gone. Defeated Rogue Martinez via decision, and then he defeated Josh Parisian via elbows from crucifix position in round number 3. Now, I guess that was a decent fight for him to defeat Josh Parisian, because he was able to get some grappling going in that one. And that's my only concern here, is like maybe Sakai can just go out, because Mays can definitely be clipped. Like I said, Mays does have pretty good hands, good power, definitely inside the pocket. I think he might be the faster fighter. It's just like he can also be clipped pretty badly. And I'm not saying Sakai is the best fighter, but both of these guys can clip each other like at any moment, because they might make that simple mistake. Mays probably is going to have the better movement too. I feel like Sakai's a little bit plotting forward. You know, sometimes he sits back a little bit too much. And then my only concern with this one is like if Mays goes out there and just gets KO'd just because he like tried to brawl quickly with Sakai, like that would be a concern. But honestly, if Mays can go out here, you know, have a little bit, okay, test out the exchange for like half a second. Don't get too crazy with it. But then obviously, if he's able to take Sakai down, I mean, I just think Sakai's not going to get back up, right? And that's a little sketchy to me. So both of these guys are sketchy. Like I could see Mays just getting clipped, put away, and not even having the opportunity to get a game plan going. But then at the same time, that means we have to trust Sakai to do more than just plot forward, sit back, and then once he gets taken down, just have no answer. And granted, obviously, Dontel Mays isn't probably the caliber of Speedback or Overeem, but at the same time, it's like, who knows at this point? Like you know, you gotta anticipate growth, right, from a fighter. So Mays, maybe he's starting to figure out how not to get so wild, or let me implement against a guy who's had trouble with grappling, let me take him down, like let me try to work that game plan. But at the same time, maybe Sakai is like, all right, I can't lose another fight. If I lose to Dontel Mays, it's all over for me. Can't get taken down. I gotta go out here, be aggressive, and finish this guy, and then he wins. So it's super sketchy, because I could see a clear path to victory for either guy. And honestly, it's just like who plays a smarter fight and has improved the most. Like if Sakai has improved any sort of like grappling defense, then like Mays isn't going to be able to take him down. And then Sakai will be able to maybe go to work on the feet. But then also like if he's sitting back too much and doesn't do anything, then that's concerning. And then obviously for Mays, if he just comes out here just starts swinging wildly like crazy dude, he could just get countered and taken out. Sakai has some pretty good leg kicks too, so who knows. But I'm gonna go Dontel Mays. I think someone gets finished here. I don't really see this going to a decision. I think he gotta finish, and so I'm gonna go Dontel Mays. I mean, it's pretty sketchy. I think he's the underdog, but I don't trust either guy, but I don't trust Sakai more. Just probably because he's just kind of not really done anything lately. And I still think like getting taken down is his weakness. So I'm going to go Dontel Mays to defeat Augusto Sakai. I'll take him to win by round 2 KO TKO. In the fourth fight in the co-main event in the evening, we have André Muniz taking on Brendan Allen. 23-4 for André Muniz, and then 20-5 for Brendan Allen in a middleweight bout. So André Muniz coming into this fight 5-0 inside of the UFC. Pretty dominant grappler, just not a guy you want to be taken down by. He's just gonna grapple all over you. I mean, if he has the better grappling, like, you're just not going to be able to stop it. On top of that, he can obviously look for a variety of submissions. He's going to chain everything together. On the feet, I would say he could probably handle himself too. Like, he has some pretty good heavy kicks, good power. I mean, he'll throw a head kick up there as well. But I think obviously the main thing is the grappling. And then he also has the cardio to kind of do this kind of grappling too, which can obviously tire a lot of people out. There's a big difference between guys that are just shooting in for takedowns and then they kind of lay there and do nothing versus a guy like André Muniz who, he takes you down. He's not going to just sit in your guard and do nothing while you like throw up triangles and submit him or something. Like, he's going to actively try to dominate that fight on the floor. He's going to backpack you. It's not going to be a good night if he's able to do that. That being said, for Brendan Allen, he's coming into this fight 8-2 inside the UFC, so it's a pretty good record inside the UFC. He's coming off 3 wins. Apologies. Last win was against Krylov Jocko, which he was able to submit him in round number 1, which is a very good fight because he was able to pull off that. I think it was a defense submission or like a reversal somewhere in there, and then he got the rear naked choke against Jocko. His win against Jacob Malkoun, won that via decision. Submitted Sam Alvey. That competition I don't think is on the same level as André Muniz. I think André Muniz is very good at one thing, and he can also, like I said, he's not desperately diving in for takedowns. So I could also think that Muniz could handle himself on the feet. But I do think Allen might be the quicker fighter on the feet. He might be putting together a little bit better combinations. He's gonna stay right in the pocket too. Pretty good jab. He's gonna have to shoot, he's gonna have to really hurt Muniz, I think, early on, kind of overwhelm him to where Muniz is diving in for those takedowns. But Muniz has to be a little bit careful because I think Brendan Allen can definitely pull off a defensive submission. I mean, it's, we've seen crazier things happen before, but if Allen can get him a little bit concerned on the feet, maybe Muniz slips up, goes in for the takedown, gets submitted here. Now, granted, I don't think that's going to happen, but it's something to look out for because I do think Allen probably would be the more volume fighter on the feet, whereas Muniz, he can definitely land with something, but he's not throwing like combinations after combination. Like, I think that's more Brendan Allen. And maybe Allen's going to want to test this to see like how Muniz's grappling is because he's like, well, maybe I can submit you too defensively or whatever. So I'd like to see how this fight plays out on the feet and then kind of go from there as far as like Muniz having that control. But either way, I mean, like I said, the only way I see Muniz losing this one is if he just gets badly hurt on the feet and dives in for something sloppy. And then Allen, because I just think that grappling that Muniz is going to bring to the table, it's just going to be pretty dominant. And like, he's going to try to win quick too. Like, he's going to come out here very fast, probably close off the distance, strike a little bit, but mainly just go in for that takedown and then kind of just try to be all over him. And unfortunately for Brendan Allen, I just don't see him being able to constantly defend the takedown. Maybe he defends a little bit of the takedowns, but then eventually he ends up getting taken out. Because let's see, Brendan Allen, he took Jocko down 1 time. He got taken down by Jacob Malkoun 7 times, won a decision. I mean, he definitely has. I mean, Kyle Donkus took him down 3 times. Yeah, I mean, I think Muniz is going to be able to take him down. And once that happens, it's just going to be very hard for Allen to get up. And again, like I said, Muniz is not going to just sit there and do nothing. He's going to try to submit him. So I'm going to go André Muniz. I think he gets in there. I think he's going to show why he's, not just a grappler in the sense of like praying for his life, but he's very well put together and pretty dominant. So I'm going to go André Muniz to defeat Brendan Allen. I'll take him to win by round 1 submission. And so we move on into the main event of the evening. We have Nikita Krylov taking on Ryan Spann. 29-9 for Krylov, 21-7 for Ryan Spann. And so this is going to be the main event of the evening in a light heavyweight bout. And I guess with the light heavyweight division the way it is, it's fair game to whoever can get in there and prove dominance and then maybe gets the title shot. Like, who knows, right, at this point. For Krylov, I think we all know Krylov, right? Having that 10-7 ratio, win-loss ratio inside the UFC, but also pretty, I would say he's pretty dominant for the grappling, but I think he can get it done other places too. I think his stand-up's fairly good. You could argue that maybe against people that are a little bit better than him grappling wise, he's not able to get there. He's kind of like another one of these gatekeeper kind of guys. Paul Craig submitted him. Magomed Ankalaev defeated him by decision. Teixeira, he lost to Teixeira via decision. He lost to Jan Blachowicz via submission. So maybe when he fights some of these better guys in the top 5 or whatever, he's not that Paul Craig is in the top 5, but he's just not able to hang with him or whatever. But Alexander Gustafsson, he defeats him. You gotta defeat him. Like, he definitely doesn't look the best at all. Alexander Gustafsson, I think he retired after that anyway. So yeah, I mean, scratch that fight, because I think anyone had to beat him. I think Ryan Spann probably would have taken him out as well. Now the Volkan Ozdemir fight, I mean, that was pretty good, because Ozdemir, obviously, he has pretty good takedown defense. So for him to win that fight, I thought that was fairly good. Especially winning a decision there. I really like that victory. And yeah, so he took him down 7 times, outlanded him significant strikes, 57-42, and so yeah, I think that was a pretty decent win. 7 of 20 takedowns, so he went for 7. I mean, he only got 7 out of the 20 takedowns there were. So that's I mean, this dude was definitely going in for the takedowns, and he was able to pull off that unanimous decision. 1 submission attempt as well. Before that, against Gustafsson, he dropped him. Paul Craig got submitted. Ankalaev took him down 3 times. Even against Johnny Walker, which he won the unanimous decision, he took him down 3 times. So I kind of expect him to do something here where he tries to go in for a takedown, obviously, and then try to maybe pull off a submission. But for Ryan Spann, he's coming off a really good victory over Dominic Reyes. You can say what you want about Reyes, not having the best of luck, getting finished 3 of his last 4 fights ever since he lost to John Jones. Who knows why that is or whatever. And in some of those fights too, he was doing fairly well, but unfortunately he got KO'd or whatever. But Ryan Spann showing that 1-punch knockout power, and showing too, like, it was like a jab, right? He turned his hand a little bit into it, but it was still basically a jab. Very quick, very explosive early on. And so the big thing here is like, okay, well, that's cool, but if Krylov is taking him down for 5 rounds, like, he's not going to get up. And that may be the case. I mean, we saw Ion Cutelaba take him down 3 times. Cutelaba made this classic Cutelaba mistake, though, and then got submitted. But he was finding success taking him down. Against Anthony Smith, he got submitted in that fight. I think Ryan Spann pretty much made a, got dropped or whatever, and then didn't have too much success there. Against Misha Serkinov, he KO'd him. Gotta be KOing Misha Serkinov, though. He lost to Johnny Walker in a very weird fight, because, I mean, he basically killed him and then comes back to life, and then, Ryan Spann makes a mistake and then ends up being the one to lose that fight. Took out Sam Alvey via split decision. Now, that is a little bit concerning, just because, it's Sam Alvey. Like, where's the finish in there? Defeated Devin Clark by submission. KO'd Nogueira. I mean, he's not bad. Like, he's definitely one of these guys, too, that he fights that higher level competition and then loses. Now, granted, in his last fight against Dominic Reyes, that was a pretty clean win, especially showcase his power in that fight. I mean, my concern in this fight for Ryan Spann is he going to be able to defend the takedowns? And if he's not able to put away Krylov early, what are we going to end up seeing happen? And I think it'd be okay in a 5-round fight to say that Krylov ends up taking over if it doesn't, if he doesn't get finished. And at the same time, you don't want to underestimate Krylov's ability to kind of like throw up a kick. kick you in the head. Like, his striking too isn't anything to joke about. I just think early on Spann is probably going to be the faster fighter, and it is going to be pretty deadly if he lands a strike. And this is also kind of disrespecting Ryan Spann, because we're kind of also assuming that, like, oh, you know, he's not going to go 5 rounds. He's going to look like shit. But in the light heavyweight division, where you got to be on at all times because you never know if you might get the opportunity with the way the division is now, you would hope that Ryan Spann has come up with a plan to defend those takedowns, but also implement his game early on, like defend a couple takedowns here or there, but then put Krylov away, press forward, get in his face, crush him, right? You would hope that he'd be able to do something like that. I mean, Ryan Spann has a pretty good guillotine too, so you don't know, man. Like, you don't. I'm not saying that he's going to submit him, but you don't know. Ryan Spann could pull off something here. Yeah, I mean, Ryan Spann just can't make too many mistakes, and he's gonna have to implement that big power early on, and try to crush him. So, for me, I just feel like if I go Nikita Krylov, he's gonna get crushed. And then it's gonna be like, well, yeah, he probably would have won if he got to do this, and that, but Ryan Spann came out, hit him a couple times, put him to sleep, put him down. And I don't know, that would bother me more than if I take Krylov. If I take Ryan Spann and Ryan Spann loses, he gets out grappled or whatever, loses in the 4th round, okay, I could see that. But it's like for Krylov to go out there and then just get crushed in that 1st round, like, I don't know. I feel like it's going to happen. I feel like Spann, like, he's not a guy you want to get hit by early on that quickly. Like, you really have to survive. So I'm not sure if Krylov's going to be able to do that. But it is a good fight. We'll see what happens. Maybe Krylov maybe Krylov pulls off a submission early on and makes this shit look easy. I mean, that is very possible. But I'm going to go Ryan Spann on this one. That speed, and like I said, he's obviously had to been training to defend a couple of the takedowns, and he has to come out aggressive, get in his face, use that speed to an advantage, and try to land that knockout shot. And maybe pull off a guillotine, maybe he drops him, then pulls off a submission, who knows. But he's got to fight smart. So I'm going to go Ryan Spann to defeat Nikita Krylov. Maybe it's the opposite way, but I'm going to take Ryan Spann and defeat him by KO TKO in round number 1. So that'll do it, guys, for my UFC Vegas main card predictions for the upcoming event taking place this Saturday. Looking forward to it. And then we're looking really forward to the next one. But yeah, those are my predictions. Leave your comments down below. Who are you picking? Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. You know what? I'll see you guys in the next video.